Hey everyone, SlickCuber here. Today, we're going to be learning some things that you can do to practice your cross and your F2L. So today, we're going to go over some popular techniques that people a lot of the time suggest so that you can get faster and, more importantly, more efficient with your F2L and your cross. So we're going to be looking at 3 different techniques to practice, and those are efficient solves, slow solves, and blind solves. Number 1, efficient solves. So when you first start using CFOP, you're probably going to be doing your cross and some F2L pairs a little bit more complicated than you have to be. And it's important to make them as efficient as possible, as quickly as possible, so you don't end up getting any bad habits or muscle memory for bad algorithms. The first part is make sure you have an efficient cross. I'm going to do white cross since that's what a lot of people start on. And all crosses can be done in 8 moves or less. So something you can do to make sure you're doing an efficient cross is simply count the number of moves you're doing and make sure it's 8 moves or less. I would suggest making sure you're doing an untimed solve, but still be using a scramble on a computer. That way, if you do the cross and it's more than 8 moves, you can just redo the scramble again and try again. So we have a fresh scramble here, and let's try to do the cross in 8 moves or less. So here's 1 piece, 2, 3, and there's 4. Okay. So blue is already solved. Green is just a U2 away, and this is orange. So actually when we put green over here and move it down, it will move orange up here, and this will go over twice and red will be over here. This is actually a really easy cross. So let's do the cross and count and make sure that it's 8 moves or less. Just a note that U2 flicks are actually just considered 1 move. So we have 1, brings the green over here, 2, brings it over here, but now this orange is aligned, 3, to bring the orange one down, 4 to bring the green one down, and then 5 to bring the red one down. And blue is already solved. So that was a 5-move cross. That was actually really easy. Most crosses you'll get will be around 6 or 7. I'll do one more example for you guys. All right, so we have a fresh scramble here. Doing white on the bottom again. We've got cross piece here, here, and the other 3 are all right here. This one's not too bad either. So we move red over here. It'll be across from orange. And then green will actually also be solved to go down in relation to the red and the orange so that we can just align the cross. And we'll just have to remember to move the blue up and then align the cross and then put the blue down. So again, let's count and make sure this is 8 moves or less. 1, 2 to put it on the bottom, 3 to put that one on the bottom, 4 to put the orange one on the bottom, and then we're going to align the cross. So 5. And then we just have to put blue down, 6. 6-move cross, that's about what you'll usually get. So now we get to the F2L part of efficient solving. And for F2L, you probably learned to do it the intuitive way, where you try to reduce it to the 3 cases, the one where the white's on top, and then the other 2 are where the white's on the side and the colors on the top are either the same or they're different. Basically, that's what you want to do for every single F2L case you have, even when they're stuck together like this. You just want to separate them so that they're one of those cases. However, you should always try to make it so that it's the 3-move insert case, not one of the other ones. So for this one, we could, bring it over here and then hide the corner and bring the edge over here to make this case. However, that's not very efficient because the white sticker facing up isn't as efficient as the 3-move one, and we can make it better. So instead, what you should do is you use the corner actually to hide the edge. This way, now you're putting the red side on the top, which is different than the green side. So the red side comes down, you bring it over here, then you bring the edge back up, and now you have that easy 3-move insert. Okay, so here we have another example. We're trying to solve into this slot, the green-orange. Here's the corner, here's the edge. So you can always try to do it in the usual way by splitting them up, making it into one of those cases. So you could do, actually that would match them together. You definitely don't want to do that. So move that over, bring it over here. Now you've got the white on top one. So you just do this other way, and that works. It's just not very efficient. So here we go. We have the same case right here. Edges on the top, corners on the bottom. You could rotate, hide the edge with the corner, and bring it over here and actually make that 3-move insert, which this isn't a bad option. It's not too terrible. However, there is an easier way to do it. So here we have the same case, corner on the bottom, edge on the top. One way you can match them up is actually with a double sledgehammer. So sledgehammer brings it down, and then matches them up, and then sledgehammer again, inserts it in there. I'm going to take this opportunity to say the most important thing with efficient solving is you want to make sure you understand what you're doing with it. A lot of these weird cases where the edge is on the top and the corner's on the bottom, or where they're stuck together, I would suggest if you can't figure out how to do it intuitively, look up an alg for it. I have an alg sheet that I actually leave in front of me when I'm doing solves and practicing my F2L efficiently. And I have it, and so in case I ever get to a pair where I'm not sure if I'm doing it as well as I could be, I can actually just look at the sheet, look at the alg, and then figure out what they're doing. And that's the important part, is you want to figure out what the algorithms are doing. Because if you just learn an algorithm and throw it in there, you're not really learning how to manipulate the cube, you're just learning another algorithm. And if you're just learning algorithms, if you have the case in the back and you learned it in the front, you have to do a double rotation to get to it. And you don't want to do that. So for this one, what we're doing with the double sledgehammer, and the reason it's actually pairing them up, is when you bring the sledge down, it brings the edge right here, and then it brings it right back up. So all it's doing is it's putting the edge over here, and then you're moving this up, and by moving it up like that, you actually pair them up together like that, and then you're just doing an insert with another sledgehammer. You could even just do it like this if you wanted to. Either way, either one works. All right, so I have one more example for you. Here we have the upside down slot. Now, again, there are a lot of ways you can do this. Obviously, very clearly inefficient is if you separate them like this and brought them up for the white on top case. But I think everyone can see that that's very inefficient. One way that you could easily do it is to bring it up, just take that slot out, and then rotate and put it back in its slot like that. And that's not bad. However, there is an easier way to do it. And it's, again, using that sledgehammer like we did last time. So we're going to bring it over here, do a sledgehammer, and now it's right here waiting for us to insert it. So what it's doing is it's separating the corner from right here. The sledgehammer actually pairs them up down here and then moves them back up. And then you're just inserting them where they go. And so by understanding that, by breaking it down and understanding it, instead of just memorizing the algorithm, now we can do this if it's in any other slot. So if it's over here, we can do this to separate them. A lefty sledgehammer, and then there it is, and you can just put it in the side. Or maybe even more helpful, if it's not in the front right or front left, if it's in the back, well, we understand what we're doing to it, so we can replicate it anywhere on the cube. So separate it out. I'm gonna move my hands like this to make the B moves a little easier. Do a kind of back sledgehammer, and now it's right here waiting to go in. So when it comes to efficiency, just try to make sure you're reducing to that 3-move case if you can. Or if you're finding there are cases where you can't seem to reduce it to that 3-move case and you feel like you're just doing too many moves, again, look at an algorithm sheet, but don't just learn the algorithm. Learn what it's doing so that you can replicate it in any of the 4 F2L slots so you don't have to be doing tons of cube rotations in the middle of your solve. Number 2, slow solves. Now, when people say to do slow solves, they're basically talking about what we just did, in that you should slow down your rotations or your layer turns, just slow down everything and make sure you're doing everything as efficiently and in the best way you can. So for the cross, maybe count your cross pieces and make sure you're doing it in 8 moves or less. So this one, I can bring the red over here, and that's gonna solve the red and the green in relation to each other. So I can bring the red down and then bring the green down, and then I can align them. So now they're aligned. And then these last two right here, by actually solving the blue, I'm going to match the orange up with the orange. And then I can bring that down, and there's the cross. So that one was actually a pretty decent cross. It wasn't too bad. Right now, I notice right away that there's a slot right here that can just be brought up. And since orange is in front of me, I know that red goes in the back. And then I see these 2 pieces right here. We want to bring it up in a way that makes it a 3-move insert, not some like the white sticker on top. So I can rotate like that, bring this over here to bring them like this, and then solve it in the back like that. Now we see we have the orange and the blue one right here, and the orange and the blue up here. Again, this is really nice. It gives us an easy 3-move insert just like that, and we can put that in. And now our last one is right here. It's a green and a red. A nice trick that you can use for when a corner's in the bottom is if the white sticker is facing a side and the other side matches the one on top, you can do this little thing to instantly pair them up like that. And then once you get to OLL and PLL, there's not much you can do as far as slow or efficient solves go. Just make sure you're using good algs. Everyone knows soon, so that one's pretty easy. And then here's a V-perm. V-perms are kind of weird, but I use that one. So sometimes people will recommend doing a solve with a metronome, and that is basically just doing a slow solve, but you're doing it to a very specific tempo so that you can start it at a very low, like 30, 40, 50, 60 BPM, depending on how much of a beginner you are. And you just solve it where every click of the metronome, you do a layer turn. And it really forces you to slow down. And so all that time in between moves where you already know what you're going to do next, it gives you a lot of time to practice look ahead, and that you can look at all the other QBs and figure out what needs to go where after you're done doing the thing you're currently doing. So got my metronome here. Let's just do a quick example of a cross in F2L with metronome. Some people argue that metronome solving isn't great and that it's better just to do slow solves. It's really up to you. I find I do metronome solves every once in a while just kind of for fun. Number 3, blind practice. Blind practice is a good way to practice look ahead. What you do is you find what you're going to do next, whether it's cross pieces or an F2L pair or an algorithm. You close your eyes and then you do them. And then you open them, you find the next one, and you do that over and over until the cube is solved. The reason that this is useful is because when you're solving the cube, you don't want to be watching what you're doing. You want to be trying to look around the cube and find what you're going to do next. And so if you can practice doing this stuff blind, if you can solve the cross blind or an F2L pair blind or do an algorithm blind, that means during a normal solve with your eyes open, you don't have to watch the pieces you're doing. You can instead be looking around the cube for what you have to do next. So a good progression for blind practice to do is to do 2 cross pieces blind, and then open your eyes, find the next 2, do them blind, and then open your eyes, and then do each F2L slot blind at a time. Once you get good at that, you can do things like doing all 4 cross pieces blind, doing 2 F2L slots at a time, or just doing 1 and kind of thinking in your head where the next ones are going to be. So let's just go ahead and do an example with this one. We've got a decently easy cross. So I'm going to solve 2 cross pieces blind first. So I'm going to close my eyes, move the orange to the other side, move the red down, and then I'm going to open them because I want the cross to stay misaligned like that. So yep, we got our 2 cross pieces in. And the next 2 are, I'm going to put them on the opposite sides, and I'm going to do a D2 to align the whole cross. So we're going to close our eyes, put this one down, this one go back and down, and then do a D2, and the cross should be aligned. Open our eyes, and sure enough, we have the cross. So now we're going to move on to the F2L part. The important part about doing F2L is don't do any U moves or don't do any rotations or anything while you're doing this inspection mode kind of thing. So I see these 2 pieces right here. I'm not going to move any right now. They need to go in this slot. So I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to do that. Close my eyes, bring this piece up, and then rotate so that I can match them up and then put them in. And then open my eyes. So right away I see this piece right here, and I see its edge back there. So I'm going to just turn it into a 3-move insert, and it's going to go in this slot in the back, so we can actually use this. We know this is a bad slot. We can use it to hide this corner right away. So we're going to close our eyes, hide it, and then insert it. Now we're going to open our eyes again. It's fine. We have those 2 done. Here's the blue and the red. Here's the blue and the red. So another white on top case. So we're going to close our eyes, bring it up, and then open them, and it should be solved. Yep, there it is. And then the last one is an easy algorithmic case that has an algorithm that's pretty easy to memorize. We're going to go in this slot here. White sticker is facing up. The edge is in its place. So we're going to close our eyes, move this over here. And then there's 3 sexy moves should solve it, and then open our eyes, and there we go. Now for OLL, obviously algorithms are usually based on muscle memory, or you can just remember them in your head anyway. You don't really need to look. So OLL, you can't really do much with it. If you're a beginner, you're still probably doing 2-look OLL. So let's just go ahead and do the example with that. So here this is the hook case. So we're going to close our eyes and we're going to do the algorithm for it. And then we're going to go ahead and open them. And so now we have this one. And again, don't do any movements before you close your eyes. We'll close our eyes and then do the algorithm. Open them. All right, this is done. So for PLL, not only you're going to look at what algorithm you're going to do, you're also going to look at what the AUF is going to be. So you can do it all blind and just have a done cube when you open them. So this is an AB perm. We see this block right here and the headlights on the right. And the blue right here is going to have to go on the other side. So I'm going to have an AB perm, and then I'm going to have a U2 AUF. So we'll go ahead and try that out. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to do the algorithm. And then we're going to do a U2 AUF, and then open your eyes, and there we have a solved cube. All right, so we have one last scramble. For this last case, we're going to try to do the entire cross blind. So I can see green's already solved. Blue is 1U away from being solved. Red and orange are actually solved opposite of each other. So go ahead and close my eyes. This one down, and then M2U to M2 to switch them. So open them, and sure enough, we have our cross solved here. All right, so we have this pair right here. We're gonna move this one back here. We're gonna move the edge to pair it up, and then we're gonna put them in their slot back in the right. So close our eyes. And open, and there they are, right in the back. Now this one right here. So this pair is really easy. I'm gonna use a Y move to insert it so that I don't have to rotate. So because this is so easy, this is a good opportunity to try to track other pieces without looking at them, so that when we're done with this one, we already know where the next one is. I see a green and a red one right here, and a green and a red corner up here. When I do my wide, I'm gonna do a U, which is gonna move it here, and then it's gonna get moved back in, but then it's gonna get moved back to this back corner. So when this is done, this one will have not moved, this one will be in the back corner. Go ahead and close my eyes. Open them. Sure enough, here's this one. And here's this one. We can do this one pretty easily by bringing this up and then just having a 3-move insert. So go ahead, close my eyes. Rotate, 3-move insert, open them. And now we have our last one right here, which is the really easy triple sexy move case. So go ahead, close our eyes, rotate to it, and just do 3 sexy moves. And we're good to go. All right, so now we have this OLL. You can do either 2 look or 1 look, doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go ahead and do 1 look. So close my eyes. Open them. We have it oriented. And now our last case, we have an F perm because we have this giant block on the right, or on the left, sorry. And then let's also think of the AUF. So this block does not get changed in an F perm. So this is the blue side where it needs to go on the blue side, which means I'm going to have a U AUF after doing an F perm. Go ahead and close our eyes. And open them. And there we go. All right, I hope this was helpful for some people. This is something I see asked in the Cubers subreddit and other Cube forums a lot. People are always asking how to practice their F2L and their cross to get them more efficient, get faster at them. So these are some little exercises that are pretty easy to do, pretty fun to do, that you can do at home and practice your F2L and cross. There's a lot of other resources out there that can help you guys with F2L and cross, and I'll put them in the description below. There's a video from J Perm where he describes how to do the cross efficiently every time. It's very helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and put my F2L image that I showed earlier in this video with all the F2L cases that are kind of difficult, where the pieces are stuck together, or one's in the bottom and another's on top. There's also gonna be a few more videos in there. Chris Olsen has a video where he has some algorithms for kind of difficult F2L cases, and I still use them to this day. Drew Brads has a great video that I definitely recommend watching, where he takes a few kind of difficult F2L cases and he explains them intuitively what you're actually looking to do. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like and a subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.